Throughout history, crocodiles have been revered and feared in equal measure. These ancient reptiles, virtually unchanged for millions of years, are among nature's most efficient predators. Over the centuries, countless individuals have fallen victim to these apex predators, often with tragic and horrifying outcomes. In this episode, we delve into 5 of the most harrowing crocodile attacks ever recorded, each a stark reminder of the primal dangers lurking beneath the surface. Join us as we look into these chilling stories of survival, tragedy, and the crocodile's unstoppable power. Richard Root was a well-known expert on infectious diseases in the U.S. He spent most of his career from the 1960s to the early 2000s working and studying at top universities in North America. In 2006, the University of Pennsylvania invited him to Botswana for 2 months to help tackle the HIV epidemic there. During his time in Botswana, Richard educated doctors and treated patients, including children. Richard lost his wife in 2001 and later married Rita O'Boyle, who joined him on the trip to Botswana. His family noticed that working in Botswana seemed to make Richard happier and more fulfilled. Despite the challenging work and long hours, many people said he looked happier than ever. It was clear that his career was still progressing positively, even as he got older. On March 19, 2006, Dr. Richard, his wife, and his friend and colleague, Dr. Harvey Friedman, planned to go on a guided safari through the Tuwo Nature Reserve. They were about halfway through their 2-month stay in Botswana and decided to take a break and enjoy some leisure time. Botswana is located in southern Africa. It's known for its stunning beauty, with nearly 40% of its land set aside for national parks and wildlife reserves. These areas are home to some of the world's most diverse ecosystems, featuring lions, leopards, elephants, rhinos, and buffaloes. This makes Botswana one of Africa's top tourist destinations. The country also boasts the Limpopo River, one of Africa's longest rivers, stretching 1,750 kilometers. The river is teeming with hundreds of species of fish and is surrounded by lush, beautiful landscapes. Many people find the river's greenery and surrounding vegetation a truly rare sight. However, the riverbanks tell a different story. The Limpopo River is home to the Nile crocodile, the largest and most aggressive crocodile in Africa. These crocodiles can weigh up to 750 kilograms and grow over 20 feet long. Anyone unfortunate enough to encounter one in the wild usually has little chance of escaping its powerful jaws. On New Year's Day in 2022, a 25-year-old woman in South Africa was doing her laundry in the shallow water of the river when a crocodile dragged her away. That same year, 4 other people from her small village were killed in crocodile attacks. Many more went into the river and mysteriously never returned. For many villagers who lack access to clean water, going to the river is a daily necessity, despite the dangers. In another incident in February 2022, a 25-year-old man and his friend from Kubani village were fishing along the river shore. Suddenly, a crocodile charged at his friend and dragged him into the river, never to be seen again. The man tried to search for his friend, but got caught in underwater debris and tragically drowned. These are just a few of the notable cases of fatal Nile crocodile attacks in the area. However, in Dr. Richard's case, the tour took them to a part of the Limpopo River in the southernmost area of the reserve. Interestingly, this section of river was considered one of the few crocodile-free zones in Botswana, with no recorded crocodile attacks in the area. However, unbeknownst to the group, this fact was about to change, dramatically altering their lives and the lives of many others. Dr. Richard and his friends got into their canoes that morning, with Richard sitting at the very front. The group was split into 2 boats, with his wife about 20 yards behind in the second one. As they set off, Richard's face lit up with excitement at the sight of the native birds in the area. The tour guides paddled gently, scanning the shore for hippos, and making sure not to surprise any animals, as many are territorial and not friendly to visitors. Unknown to the group, a large Nile crocodile had sneaked into the Tuwo Nature Reserve and was eyeing Richard's canoe. Nile crocodiles can sense even the smallest vibrations in the water and use their vision to stalk prey. Despite the group's efforts to be quiet, the boat's movements and paddles had attracted the crocodile. It was now lurking just below the stern of the boat, with its eyes barely breaking the surface, waiting for the right moment to strike. Suddenly, one of the guides spotted the crocodile and yelled, "Croc!" But before anyone could react, the crocodile leapt at Richard, creating a loud splash that startled the group. In an instant, the croc grabbed Richard by the arm, clamping its jaws shut. The guides tried to free Richard, but the powerful crocodile pulled him out of the canoe. In front of his horrified friends and his wife, the crocodile dragged Richard into the muddy depths of the river within seconds. His wife and the other witnesses were left petrified. What was supposed to be a fun adventure had turned into a nightmare. The only trace of Richard was a large pool of blood at the scene. Locals and police searched for his body that day, but found nothing. After days of trying, they lost hope, realizing that the crocodile had likely consumed Richard entirely. A few days later, after the tragic incident, on March 23rd, Richard's mangled body was found on the river shore, not far from where the attack happened. However, the crocodile that attacked him was never found. Although his wife was relieved to have his body back, she remained in denial for a long time, struggling to accept his death. Richard's tragic passing left an empty space in both the medical community and the hearts of those who knew him. His dedication to healthcare and education had touched countless lives, and his passing was felt deeply across borders. Alicia Sorahan, a vibrant 61-year-old, cherished the annual tradition of traveling with her family to Bathurst Bay, a renowned fishing spot located 250 kilometers north of Cooktown in far north Queensland. For the past 5 years, this journey had become more than just a trip. It was a deeply cherished tradition that brought Alicia immense joy and fulfillment. Alicia had always been passionate about camping and exploring nature's wonders. The tranquil beaches, the rugged bushland, and the abundant wildlife captivated her heart. Each year, she eagerly anticipated the chance to immerse herself in the natural beauty of Bathurst Bay, where she felt most alive and connected to the earth. Her love for camping was rooted in the sense of peace and serenity it brought her, away from the hustle and bustle of daily life. Moreover, Alicia's family shared her enthusiasm for these adventures, creating lasting memories filled with laughter, exploration, and the simple joy of being together in the great outdoors. In October 2004, experienced campers and grandparents Alicia and Bill Sorohan were joined by their family friends and first-time campers Andrew Kerr, his wife Diane, and their 4-month-old baby Kelly, along with 3 other family members and friends. They set camp up about 30 to 40 meters from the beach where it meets the bush, a spot they considered safe because the Sorahans had camped there without incident for 6 to 7 years. At 4 a.m. on the first night, everyone was asleep in their tents with their loved ones. It was quiet and dark when a 4.6-meter crocodile emerged from the calm waters and headed toward the main camp. It passed by one of the family's 4-wheel drives, specifically a Land Cruiser Ute, and stopped in front of Andrew's tent. It's important to note that Cape York, Queensland can be very hot that time of year. Andrew's tent had its flaps open and the fly screen down. Diane, Andrew's wife, heard a noise outside her tent. As she looked toward the front, she was horrified to see the silhouette of a crocodile standing in front of her tent. Diane woke Andrew up quietly, but his eyes widened as he saw the silhouette of the 4.6-meter crocodile lunging towards him through the tent flap. The croc sank its teeth into Andrew's hips and started pulling him out of the tent toward the beach. Crocodiles are known for drowning their prey by locking onto their limbs and performing a deadly death roll, which can sever limbs and immobilize victims. As Andrew was dragged closer to what seemed like a certain death, he shouted to Diane to save their 4-month-old baby Kelly. Frozen with fear for a moment, Diane's maternal instincts kicked in, and she bravely rescued Kelly from the tent wreckage. Meanwhile, the enraged crocodile neared the water's edge, with Andrew futilely punching the beast in a desperate attempt to break free. Despite his efforts, Andrew had no chance against one of the planet's most ancient and formidable predators. By this point, Andrew faced imminent danger of being dragged into the water, where survival seemed nearly impossible, given the injuries he had already sustained. Hearing the chaos, Alicia and Bill rushed out of their tent. Alicia witnessed the crocodile dragging Andrew toward the water, a terrifying sight. In a moment of incredible bravery, Alicia leaped onto the crocodile's head, causing it to thrash violently. The impact broke her nose and several teeth instantly. As Alicia struggled to escape, the crocodile clamped down on her arm, nearly tearing it off. Witnesses described her arm as hanging by a thread. Seeing his mother in mortal danger, Jason swiftly intervened. Armed with a gun, he positioned himself behind the crocodile and fired 4 shots into its head, killing it instantly. Andrew suffered a broken leg, a fractured arm, and multiple puncture wounds across his body. Alicia, bleeding heavily, was rushed into the safety of a Land Cruiser by Bill and another man. They sped towards the nearest Royal Flying Doctor Service, fearing for Alicia's life due to severe blood loss and the long journey to reach medical help. Enduring a painful 7-hour car ride, Alicia then faced another trip by helicopter to the hospital for urgent medical treatment. Andrew was later airlifted to the hospital due to the severe risk associated with a crocodile bite, which includes significant blood loss and a high likelihood of infection from the bacteria in crocodile mouths. Many have speculated on the cause of the attack, including Australian fisherman and YouTuber GT Buster, who was present at the scene and provided much of the footage. Alicia Sorahan and Andrew Kerr emerged as symbols of resilience and bravery. Despite facing unimaginable danger, Alicia's selfless act and Andrew's determined struggle against the massive predator saved lives that day. Deasy Tuwo was a 44-year-old woman who was a dedicated wildlife research scientist at Indonesia's CV Yoshiki Laboratory. The pearl farm where she worked illegally housed a group of crocodiles. She was known for her unwavering love and commitment to animals. Mary was one of these reptilian giants, measuring 17 feet in length and weighing a whopping 1,300 pounds. Mary's impressive size was matched by her appetite, which was fueled by a diet carefully curated by Deasy, high in protein from tuna, chicken, and beef, and always served fresh. Deasy's daily interactions with Mary showed her passion for wildlife. Unlike others who might be afraid of such formidable creatures, Deasy approached Mary with a gentle confidence that stemmed from respect and admiration. Crocodiles in Indonesia stand apart from their counterparts elsewhere due to their unique characteristics. They are renowned for their exceptional cunningness, a trait honed over millions of years, making them formidable predators and survivors. Each year, these ancient reptiles are responsible for over 200 deaths in Indonesia alone. They are masterful in using their cunning to outmaneuver both prey and competitors alike, attacking with ferocity and leaving behind a trail of devastation wherever they strike. On January 10, 2019, Deasy arrived early at the lab, greeted by the warm Friday morning sun reflecting off the green pools at Pearl Farm. Carrying fresh meat chunks, she headed straight to her favorite crocodile, Mary, for the usual feeding. Mary noticed her approach and swiftly leaped from the water with a powerful tail flick, eagerly eyeing the bucket of meat. Approaching cautiously, Deasy stood near the enclosure, fully aware of the lurking danger beyond the concrete wall. She held the meat above the 8-foot barrier. In a blur of motion, Mary rose on her hind legs, snatching the meat mid-air and swallowing it whole. The sleek scales of Mary's body gleamed in the morning light as she gracefully landed back on the ground. Deasy marveled at the rippling muscles beneath Mary's skin, impressed by the reptile's acrobatic prowess. She continued feeding the reptile, marveling at its impressive power and grace. Deasy deeply respected and admired Mary, seeing an ancient reptile showcasing the raw power and beauty of nature. As she lifted the last piece of meat over the wall, the crocodile gracefully stood on its hind legs and jumped higher than before, seizing both the meat and Deasy's left hand in its jaws. Deasy had been so captivated by Mary that she forgot to keep her hand out of the crocodile's reach. She cried out in pain as Mary's teeth pierced her skin and sliced through flesh. With a forceful pull, Mary dragged Deasy over the wall and into the enclosure. Deasy felt her bones crunch as she hit the ground inside the enclosure. Mary then did what crocodiles often do, rolling violently with Deasy's left arm still in its mouth. Deasy's body jerked as Mary tore at her, shaking her like a toy. Her cries for help echoed but went unanswered. Blood splattered around, her screams faded as she grew weaker. Mary's strong muscles worked together as it shook its head, rolled around and twisted, tearing Deasy's flesh and bones apart. The awful sounds of bones cracking and flesh tearing filled the enclosure as Deasy screamed in pain. She rolled over and locked eyes with Mary, staring into its cold, unblinking gaze. Her arm had vanished deep inside the creature's throat. Crocodiles don't chew their food, they swallow it whole. They have very strong stomach acid that can digest bones, horns, and hooves. They also eat small stones called gastroliths, which help grind up their prey during digestion. Deasy's heart raced as she looked for a way out of the deadly trap. Bleeding heavily and in intense pain, she struggled to stand. The crocodile's hot breath was close behind her, its massive body sliding loudly across the smooth floor. Desperate, she scanned the walls for any crack or ledge to hold onto, but they were perfectly smooth and offered no escape. The crocodile closed in, snapping its jaws just inches away. With a surge of adrenaline, she hurled herself towards the walls, scaling them like a human spider with her one remaining arm. Her fingers searched desperately for a grip, but the smooth surface provided none. Losing her footing, she slipped and plunged into the murky water below. Now she had gone from bad to worse, as the water was Mary's hunting ground. Trapped and defenseless, she was at Mary's mercy. Mary swiftly glided through the water towards Deasy. Frantically, Deasy kicked and paddled with her remaining strength, but her injured state slowed her down. In moments, the crocodile reached her, jaws wide, and clamped onto Deasy's torso. A piercing scream echoed as Deasy cried for help, but the crocodile attack was swift and relentless. It ripped open her torso, exposing her insides and staining the water crimson. Deasy thrashed wildly, trying to stay above the surface, but her struggles only worsened as the crocodile seized her remaining arm in its powerful grip. Dragging her underwater, the crocodile submerged Deasy, sealing her fate. Her lungs burned for air as she fought against the creature's relentless hold. Unable to break free, Deasy felt her strength fading, her life slipping away into the swirling, bloody waters. The morning passed with growing concern among Deasy's colleagues at the lab. She was always punctual, so her absence raised alarms. They hoped for a simple explanation, but as the mid-morning approached, panic swept through the farm. A strange shape was spotted in Mary's enclosure. Initially thought to be an anomaly, the shape began to move across the water's surface, revealing the horror beneath. It was Mary, emerging with Deasy's ravaged body clamped in its jaws. Deasy's left hand was gruesomely injured, her torso torn apart. The staff recoiled in shock at the brutality of the scene before them, fearful of approaching the predator's territory. They quickly alerted the authorities at the Tamboriri police station, shaken by the tragic and violent turn of events. A rescue operation swiftly mobilized, with police and Natural Resource Conservation Agency officers responding to retrieve Deasy's body. Yet Mary, unwilling to release its prey, thrashed violently, tail lashing and emitting a menacing hiss that filled the air with dread. His eyes glowed with fierce determination, a clear warning to stay back. Faced with Mary's aggression, the handlers retreated momentarily, opting to sedate the crocodile. Once subdued, Mary was carefully loaded onto a flatbed truck and transported to a wildlife rescue facility. There, medical examinations confirmed Mary had indeed consumed Deasy. Authorities pointed fingers at the Japanese owner of the facility for illegally housing these crocodiles as pets. He was subsequently charged and sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in the tragic incident that claimed Deasy Tuwo's life. Cynthia Covert, a lively and adventurous 58-year-old, was known for her zest for life and love for animals. Her fascination with wildlife often led her to seek close encounters with nature. Unfortunately, her curiosity and desire to be near animals resulted in a tragic encounter with a wild alligator. One sunny afternoon on Kiowa Island, South Carolina, Covert was drawn to a serene pond near her home. Ignoring a friend's warning to stay away from an alligator in the pond, her adventurous spirit led her to approach the water's edge. She wanted to get a closer look at the alligator she had spotted. Kiowa Island, located 25 miles southwest of Charleston, is famous for its stunning natural beauty and abundant wildlife, offering a tranquil retreat for those seeking to escape city life and enjoy the low country's wonders. One of the island's most distinguishing features is its diverse ecosystem, which supports a wide range of plants and animal species. American alligators can be found in the island's marshes, ponds, and lagoons. These prehistoric predators, known for their powerful jaws and intimidating presence, play an important role in the island's ecosystem. Kiowa Island's extensive network of waterways and marshlands provides an ideal environment for alligators to thrive, with plenty of opportunities for these ancient reptiles to hunt, bask in the sun, and raise their young. Visitors to the island frequently see alligators sunning themselves on the banks of waterways or floating in the shallows, adding to the allure of this unique coastal destination. While alligator encounters are quite common on Kiowa Island, most interactions between humans and these reptiles are peaceful. However, Cynthia Covert's tragic incident serves as a stark reminder that danger is always present. This highlights the need for residents and visitors to be cautious and respectful of the island's natural habitats. Despite the risk of coexisting with these apex predators, Kiowa Island remains a favorite spot for nature lovers and wildlife enthusiasts. The island offers numerous opportunities to enjoy its natural beauty, from birdwatching and kayaking to peaceful walks along its pristine beaches. As people explore the wild landscapes of Kiowa Island, they are reminded of the delicate balance between human presence and the untamed beauty of nature. Unhindered by the potential danger, she moved closer, her footsteps echoing softly against the island. In a heartbreaking twist of fate, the alligator lying in wait just beneath the lush backdrop surface seized the opportunity as Covert approached, lunging forward with lightning speed to ensnare her in its formidable jaws. Covert's friend, witnessing the horror unfold in front of her eyes, could only watch in stunned disbelief as the alligator dragged her beloved companion beneath the murky depths of the pond. Despite bystanders' frantic efforts to intervene, they were unable to free Covert from the clutches of the relentless predator. Covert's friend's husband and another brave individual quickly came to her aid, armed with shovels and determined to rescue her from the alligator's grip. Despite their valiant efforts, the alligator's primal instincts drove it to retreat deeper into the water, firmly holding on to its prey. As the situation grew more dire, deputies arrived on the scene faced with a life-or-death struggle. With Covert's life hanging in the balance, one officer made the difficult decision to take action, firing a single shot that hit the alligator and ending the deadly confrontation. In the midst of the chaos and heartbreak, firefighters jumped into the water heavy-hearted, trying desperately to save Covert from the alligator. Sadly, despite their best efforts, it was too late, and Covert had already passed away, leaving a deep sense of loss. The witness's husband said he would never forget this incident and mentioned that he and a neighbor tried to rescue Covert. An autopsy later revealed Covert died from drowning, highlighting the alligator's brutal attack. Her death deeply affected the close-knit community, leading to reflection on the fragile balance between humans and nature. Michael Jackson, known by his friends and family as a dedicated fisherman and nature enthusiast, had a deep love for the outdoors. At 57, he spent countless hours fishing in the serene waters of the Adelaide River, a place he cherished for its rich biodiversity and tranquil surroundings. His passion for fishing was not just a hobby, but a way for him to connect with nature, find peace, and enjoy the beauty of the wilderness. One day, Michael and his wife set out for what they thought would be another peaceful fishing trip on the Adelaide River. The Adelaide River is in the Northern Territory of Australia, about 43 miles southeast of Darwin. The river is famous for its large number of saltwater crocodiles, which are some of the biggest and most dangerous crocodiles in the world. Because it's close to Darwin and has lots of wildlife, the Adelaide River is a popular spot for tourists, especially those who want to see and interact with crocodiles in their natural environment. One of the main attractions for tourists here is the jumping crocodile cruises. These are boat tours on the river where visitors can watch and sometimes even help feed wild crocodiles. The tours use bait like chicken carcasses to make the crocodiles jump out of the water to grab the food, which is why they are called the jumping crocodile cruises. This exciting display lets visitors get close to these ancient reptiles and see their amazing hunting skills up close. The river was both a favorite fishing spot and a place of natural wonder for Michael. He prepared his fishing rod, gathered his bait, and headed towards their boat, eager to catch the prize barramundi, a fish renowned for its size and delicious white flesh. Little did Michael know this trip would be unlike any other. On August 18, 2014, unaware of any danger nearby, the man continued fishing peacefully. Little did he know he had been under observation for over an hour. The river seemed calm, but a sinister presence lurked beneath the surface. Michael Jackson, the albino crocodile, had singled out the man as his prey. Patiently biding his time, Michael waited for the perfect moment to strike. As soon as he stepped into the water to retrieve his snagged line, the crocodile seized the opportunity. With lightning speed, Michael lunged and grabbed hold of the fisherman. The sudden attack caught the man completely off guard. He struggled desperately as the crocodile pulled him under, thrashing and rolling in the water. Despite his agonizing screams for help, there was no escape. Within moments, he disappeared beneath the murky depths, leaving only his fishing rod bobbing on the water's surface. His wife, still on the riverbank and unaware of the unfolding tragedy, turned around at the sound of his cries. All she could see were ripples, bubbles, and the telltale signs of a struggle. Shock and horror gripped her as she realized what had transpired in the blink of an eye. The wife, very upset and worried, called Tony Blooms, who owned Adelaide River Queen Jumping Crocodile Cruises, to help find her husband. Tony hurried over to assist, but couldn't find any sign of the missing man. He decided to call the police for help. Seeing the wife in shock, Tony also called emergency services to calm her down and take her back home to Darwin. Around 8:30 p.m., police and wildlife officers joined the search for the 57-year-old man. About a half an hour later, they heard gunshots. By 9:30 p.m., the police found the man's remains. It was clear he had been killed by a crocodile in the area. Wildlife officers quickly identified and killed the semi-albino crocodile Michael Jackson, responsible for the attack. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first attack on the Adelaide River. There had been 4 others, including the well-known case of Ginger Meadows. 1 year before Jackson's attack, a 24-year-old man was killed swimming across the Mary River, and a boy was taken at a billabong at Jabiru. After that, a fisherman was snatched off his boat as he emptied a bucket in the Kakadu River. These incidents sparked debates about jumping crocodile cruises. Critics blamed their cruises for using bait to attract tourists, arguing it was wrong and had caused multiple deaths. They believed this practice made crocodiles see humans as a source of food, which could lead to dangerous encounters. It was a tragedy that the man passed away while doing what he loved most, deeply affecting his wife who witnessed it all. Some argued the man himself was at fault for entering the river to retrieve his fishing line without enough caution, fully aware of the risk involved. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more shocking animal attacks, simply click on the next video. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button for more terrifying stories. Until next time, stay safe.